We've been studying manifestation for years, and we genuinely believe this is the only thing you need to know to have it all. And it's probably not what you think. Because if you've studied manifestation, you've probably heard that you're the creator of your reality. You can assume, you can affirm, you can visualize, you can embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and you will then get the reality that you desire. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there is one question that you don't ask, or that we probably don't ask often enough. Who is the you that is supposedly manifesting? Because if manifestation is based on the premise that the 3D is an illusion and that this reality is moldable, then logically that includes the human manifestor, the one listening to this video, the person listening to this video. So if the human is part of the 3D, how could the human be the ultimate power creating the 3D? And this is where manifestation and non-duality come together. Because the only thing you truly need to know to manifest the life of your dreams is to know who you really are. Your true form, your true being. And I'm not asking you to believe me. Actually, let's test it together right now. Just stop for a second. Don't try to change anything. Don't try to affirm. Don't visualize anything. Just notice what is already here. There might be a thought. There might be a sensation. There might be an image. There might be a thought. Perhaps the sensation of your body sitting where you are. Perhaps another thought about what you're hearing. Everything is simply appearing. So here's the question. What is aware of all of this? A thought appears, but you are aware of the thought. A sensation appears, but you're aware of the sensation. A sound appears, but you're aware of the sound. So can you actually find the person who is aware? Not the thought saying, I am this person, not the story of your name, your history, your job, your relationships, your body, but without those thoughts, for a moment, what remains? I am. Awareness, being. This is what so many traditions and spiritual teachings have been pointing towards with different words. God, awareness, source, consciousness, I am. The word is not important. What matters is what it's pointing to. And it is pointing to what you are before the story of who you are. This is why when I say you are God, I'm not talking about the human being becoming some superhuman version of themselves. I'm not saying that your personality is God. I'm not saying your ego is God. I'm saying something much simpler. The awareness in which the human being appears is what I'm pointing to when I say God. You're not a human being who happens to have awareness. The human being is an appearance within awareness. And this is why knowing yourself is the final destination of the spiritual and manifestation journey, because you don't need to become what you already are. You don't need to become powerful. You do not need to become worthy. You do not need to become this ideal version of yourself who already has it. You don't need to become God. You are simply recognizing what has always been here. I am. And once you see this, the whole idea of the human manifestor starts to fall apart, because the human is a character, a role, a performance appearing within awareness. Think about it this way. If I suddenly started speaking with a very convincing Irish accent and become performing an Irish character, would you need to fight the character? Would you need to destroy the Irish character? Would you need to heal it? No, you would simply recognize, oh, she's performing a role. And that applies exactly the same for you as God, as awareness. And once the performance is recognized as a performance, you don't have to fight it. The same applies to the human character, the person you call yourself, the ego. You don't have to fight the ego. You don't even have to dissolve the ego. You simply have to see that the character is a role appearing within what you are. The ego is a role appearing within what you are. And that is a completely different approach, right? Because now you aren't trying to fix the character so that the character can finally become worthy of the life it wants. You're recognizing that the character never existed. It doesn't exist. It's fake. And this is where manifestation becomes incredibly simple, because you're not a human being who occasionally manifests something. You're not a human being who sometimes is a successful manifestor and sometimes doesn't. The entire experience is already appearing within awareness, is manifesting constantly as God. Because you as God manifest, create, appears, reveals everything that you already are. The sky, the moon, the thoughts, the sensations, the forms of people, the forms of circumstances, the imagination, the forms, everything that appears is appearing within you as you. So the question is no longer, how can I, the human, make the 3D give me what I want? The question becomes, who am I? And even that question can be taken one step further, because ultimately, awareness doesn't have to become anything. Awareness simply is. God simply is. You simply are. Always. I am. You are. And this is why I don't want you to leave this video thinking that you now have another spiritual job. You don't have to maintain a perfect state. You don't have to monitor every thought or not have thoughts. You don't have to panic when you have feelings or sensations. You don't have to force yourself to be positive, because thoughts and sensations are simply appearances too. Quote-unquote fearful thought can appear in awareness. A quote-unquote doubtful thought can appear in awareness. A quote-unquote anxious sensation can appear in awareness. And none of those appearances change who you are, touch who you are. You remain and still are awareness. Thoughts appear in awareness, sensations appear in awareness, the character appears in awareness as a thought, that is just a thought appearing now, but everything appears in awareness. And this makes logical sense too. Unless you've experienced something in awareness, it wouldn't exist. Awareness literally has given life to everything that you've ever experienced. This is logical and verifiable by you. Do not take my word. Prove us wrong. Write in your comments if you've ever experienced anything that you weren't aware of and that didn't appear in awareness. It's impossible, right? And this is why also thoughts aren't enemies. I really want to make this really clear. You do not need to stop thinking in order to manifest. You do not need to have perfect thoughts. You do not need to control thoughts. Thoughts are simply appearances. Just like sounds are appearances, sensations are appearances, forms are appearances. The problem isn't that a thought appears. The problem is only that the thought of a character appears, and not even a problem. It's a roleplay. There's no problem here. You're never hurt. But that you have been role-playing as the thought of, I am this person, I am Mary, I am John, which is just the thought appearing now. The thought of a me is a thought appearing as a me, appearing now. But you recognize that a thought is simply appearing. You're completely free. So now let's bring this back to the quote-unquote 3D. Because this is where I think manifestation can become unnecessarily complicated. You look at your circumstances and you say, my manifestation isn't here. I don't see my person. I don't see the money. I don't see the house. And then you're told, oh, ignore the 3D. Don't look at the 3D. Don't react to the 3D. But let's look at this differently. You do not need to fight this 3D. You do not even need to ignore the 3D. You do not need to be afraid of the 3D, because the 3D is just another thought appearing now in awareness. There is no separation or real gap or a wall between 3D versus imagination, right? Without thought, that fully dissolves. So there is simply an experience appearing now. There is no separation. There is no wall between the 3D versus the 4D. So you do not even need to ignore the 3D or fight the 3D or be threatened by the 3D, because there is no such thing as the 3D in the first place. It is all you. Again, that's where manifestation and duality come together, and it's the ultimate destination of you as God wanting to give yourself the experiences of knowing who you are, knowing you're God. You verify this. There's simply experience appearing now, thoughts appearing now, forms appearing now, sensations appearing now. And what we call the 3D is also just a thought appearing now. So when you imagine something, where does that image appear? Now. When you remember something or so-called have a thought about memory, it's all appearing now. The idea of the future, the idea of the past, they're all thoughts appearing now. Everything is appearing in the present experience. And this is where the distinction between imagination and reality becomes very interesting, because we're not saying that you should pretend you can't see something physically that you don't currently see. We're saying that the experience of imagining is itself happening now. You don't have to wait for tomorrow to experience the thought. You don't have to wait for the 3D to validate the imagination before you're allowed to experience it. Because there's no such thing as imagination versus 3D in the first place. If you want to experience being loved, experience it now. If you want to experience abundance, experience it now. If you want to experience your dream life, experience it now. You are literally God. You decide now, you experience now. Because again, they're just thoughts appearing now, experiences appearing now, forms appearing now in awareness. No separation, no 3D versus 4D. It is all appearing within you. And that changes everything, because you've probably been taught to think, here I am, this little person, and there's my desire over there. And now I need to get from here to there. But notice that what's creating the distance again is a thought of here and there. Now, later, me, my manifestation. And when you look closely, all of those are just thoughts appearing now. This doesn't mean that the physical world isn't experienced. Of course it is, but it is experienced as a thought. It is experienced as an illusionary distance, as an illusionary time. We're inviting you to notice that it is a conceptual separation from a thought between me here and my desire over there. And that is why you don't have to chase manifestation, practice manifesting, or do anything at all. Because you are God. You don't have to earn anything convinced. You don't have to become a better or the ideal version of yourself. You do not have to perfect your self-concept. You don't even have to decide. Because the awareness that is aware of the desire, the awareness that is aware of desiring, the awareness that is aware, which is God, is whole, is perfect and complete. And this is where manifestation fully dissolves the whole concept of time and doing, because there's no time. And it's all about recognizing who you are. It was all about recognizing you as God, as seeing yourself as God, which you've always known. You're God. You've always known you're God. But recognizing that the human character was just a performance, that thoughts were just appearances, that circumstances were also just a thought appearing this now, but that it was all happening and made of the same awareness that you are, the God. And if you want to call that awareness God, because everything is happening within the same awareness and made of awareness, because without thought there's no separation, yes, you are God. Not your personality, not your ego, not your human character, but the awareness in which the entire experience of being a human being has appeared. And this is something you don't have to believe, right? You can verify it right now. Look, a thought is appearing, you're aware of it. A sensation is appearing, you're aware of it. A sound is appearing, you're aware of it. And before the thought of I am this person appears, you still are. What are you? You still are. That's it. And this is the absolute freedom, because you've recognized you've always been free. Because you don't have to fight a character that doesn't exist, that it's illusionary. You do not have to fight thoughts or emotions or circumstances or a 3D, because they're all just illusionary. You simply recognize what you are. And then you're free to experience everything that you already are. Not as a desperate human trying to pull something from somewhere outside of yourself, but as the whole of reality itself, experiencing and expressing itself freely. As the only thing that is here, because non-duality is oneness too. There's only you. There's no one to fight against you or to reject you or to decide for you. It's all you. The awareness that you are. You don't need another method to become powerful or another manifestation technique. You don't need another affirmation. You just know yourself. You need to know yourself, which you've always known. Again, you have always known. You're simply giving yourself the opportunity or the experience, the illusionary experience of experiencing directly and recognizing directly who you truly are. So if you have a dream right now, don't ask, where is it in my 3D? If you have a desire, do not ask, where is it in my 3D? Don't ask, why can't I see it yet? Don't ask, what do I have to do to make it happen? Instead, experience it right now, because you've experienced and verified that there's no 3D versus 4D, that there is no human here seeing things, but the awareness that is aware of everything. So just experience it in your awareness that it's all you. But because the experience of the desire is already appearing within you now, the image, the thought, the feelings, the knowing, it's all appearing in awareness, which is not limited, it's limitless. The same awareness that is aware of this voice, the same awareness that is aware of forms and thoughts that are appearing. Everything is appearing in you. Then where could your desire possibly be if there's no other space than now, or there's no other time than now? There's only just appearing now, and everything is you, and there's no separation, and nothing is outside of you. Literally nowhere. There's nowhere outside of awareness. Your desire cannot be anywhere else other than inside of you. The fulfilled desire cannot be anywhere else other than inside of you as your true form, as awareness. Because again, you've never, ever experienced anything outside of your awareness. And this is the freedom. You were never a little human trying to become powerful enough to create and manifest a life. You were never trying to become God. You were never trying to manifest by becoming the ideal version of yourself or deciding. You were simply giving yourself the experience of discovering what you have always been. Awareness, I am God. God. And when you know that, you don't chase manifestation. You just get to experience everything and anything, and you have it all. Because ultimately, there is only you here. There's no one else. All right, my loves, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And would love to hear your comments. If you want to get the experience being coached, here we are as an expression of yourself as God, to offer you coaching, to offer you the experience of a course, our Signature SOManifesting course, signature course of Source of Manifesting. And there's nothing to do. There's no working hard. Go and have it all, because you already have it all. You are all. Love you so, so much.